from Costco, and I'm so carbed up that I just had to tell you, I just had to share the wisdom, the tidbit. And I'll preface this by saying, I'm sure you've heard people comment, I'm so carbed up that I can't think. I've got the proto-European farmer just grain slop coursing through my veins. It's dulling my Faustian spirit. I can't think. I can't conceive of a limitless plane, let alone anything else but sitting and ruminating on my different grain products, on my rice and my wheat and my liquid wheat and my gruel and my bowl of gruel that I eat with my other gruel and my little hovel that's also made of grass and dirt and grass. But this shit, there's some truth to it. And it had me so brain glazed, so grass brained that I forgot that the Soviet Union invaded the Baltic states. I had to cope. I had to invent copes in my ego to free myself of this internalized shame, blame perhaps some ancient Hearts of Iron playthrough that was done years ago for my ignorance, my cooked brain. But examine, and I'll show you in the sloppiest, grainiest of manners. If we can get this to focus even. Oh, it's just how freakishly, how carbed I am, how leaned out I am. It's sickening, truly it's sickening, it's pissening. I put the image over here. We can get in my hovel some greater understanding. They say the proof is in the pudding. The proof is in the pizza, my friend, my wop. The wopaganda. Don't believe the wopaganda, but eat the wopaganda sometimes. And this is the time. And I'll explain to you why that is. This isn't the final solution. This is a snack in the day of the final solution for the carb problem. And I'll tell you, this is how I've been cutting while I've been bulking. Now this, I know it's difficult to see with the lighting and the focus. That's part of it. That's part of the whole philosophy that we're getting into. And I spent the initial part of the cutting digital film. Who knows how many hours I spent doing this. It all turned out to be trash. It turned out to be cringe and gay. And I couldn't put it out. I couldn't. Even though it was immaculately cleaned, except for the audio quality, which was quite possibly even worse than the audio quality of this video will be. And that's astounding. But I digress. Even smoking 100 cigarettes on a 100-mile bike ride, I couldn't do it. But this, I could cut while I'm bulking. And currently, I've been having an issue, which is not so much that the financial aspect of it is certainly a thorn in my side that I won't pretend to be able to wholly evade into eternity. However, the real issue, my friend, is space. And I'm in my tenement, Have you ever seen a caricature of an Irishman? This is his zoo. This is where you'd place the zoo caricature of the Irishman who works in a factory in 1858. Now, we've seen one part, and I'm not even gonna cut that out. Fuck it. We fuck up shit here. That's part of this. The Mr. Chai City style. Into part 2 of my master plan, which if I can get far enough away from this, we'll focus on. Yeah, there we go. The organic raisins. Now the organic part, trivial. Honestly, we fuck it up with the most sewer sludge oil raisins we could. However, comma, now look at the back, and you can't see this here. I'm not even going to attempt to focus it so that you can see. I might go to the macro mode, honestly, that I use for taking pictures of various insects that summon my fancy. But you'll see 31 grams of carbs per serving. That's a quarter of a cup, 31 grams of carbs per serving. I generally try to go for 40 every 20 minutes. That's crazy. But with the rice, it's very simple. And this is a dish that I've arrived at first principles. If you ever had a Rice Krispie treat, we're kind of making that along with some other things by first principles. And the longer that you just go to the store and you buy the same slop, the same arbitrarily chosen trash based on economic trends, the faster you will come to a conclusion that most meals are generally the same in the world with slightly altered components. Or if you've ever run into, I'm sure you've seen some depiction of one immigrant group or another, or emigrant group or expat group, where they come to your area and they say, no. You see, in my culture, we like to have a grain product with meat inside of it. And they'll continue on in this manner. However, we're even more scuffed and we're even more carb pilled here into our cut bulk, because I got to get at least 4 grams of carbs per kilo of body weight per day, and that's no mean feat when you exclude the final solution to the carbohydrate problem, which we're presently attempting to focus on if the humidity in my air conditionless tenement was not preventing us from doing so. But I think we'll get there. In any case, regardless if you can view this or not properly, you'll see there's 40 grams per serving of a quarter cup dry. Now, is it any coincidence that the raisins and the rice match up with their serving size? Perhaps not. Now, I'll tell you, I don't actually own a serving cup. That's part of the cut of this philosophy. Is we've cut out a lot of unextra things like serving sizes. But what I do own is a camping cup that I fill up a quarter of the way. And a cup, as long as the ratio is the same, what would one say? The access, the diameter, perhaps. I'm thinking in terms of astronomy for some reason. In any case, the ratio, that's what we want. The part to the whole is the same. Now, is that any coincidence? Perhaps. But what isn't a coincidence is the massive amount of honey that I intend to pour on this. And the honey contained within this microplastic to nerf me is raw, allegedly, although it's also grade A in plastic, so we have to doubt some of these assertions. But the honey, and I'm not going to get into the fructose to whatever fucking ratio in this, that type of nerd shit, but suffice it to say, you can gain a significant amount of extra carbohydrates just by the honey drizzle, and they're readily digestible, they're quick acting. So we do that. We combine the raisins with the milk and the honey. The milk I've just dropped on you as a little secret there, but I don't actually have any because, as I've shown you previously, I've been consuming my pizza snack, to wit, I added an entire gallon of milk. Now, how is it even possible that I'm eating this much and yet I'm cutting? Well, it's a very simple solution. Is we'll walk over to the fan by the television that I use as a computer monitor, and I'll close at the windows of the other things I was looking at so that you don't have to view them. But we'll go to something of beyond a little importance, which is here we are. If we can focus on this in any type of recognizable manner before the camera dies. Perhaps we shall. Perchance. Need to get some standoff here. Alright. Alright, yeah, that's good enough. So, as you may or may not be able to see, yeah, we're doing some moderate cardio, and now 8 to 10 hours a week. That might seem like a little much. That might seem like a second job. The pizza is struggling to contend against my might and power. But in any case, that might seem like a rather substantial amount of time, if not work, to be doing. However, you got to keep in mind, professionals in this activity are, busting their testicles into 25, 30-hour weeks. That's a full-ass job. That truly is a full-ass job. And 8 hours and 35 minutes, 9 hours, 35 minutes is truly chump change in comparison. And, how do you fit this into your schedule? Well, quite obviously, there's a little bit more than 24 hours in a day. Just wake up earlier or go to sleep later. And, I have all these things I need. Do you really need to do them? Do you really want to do them? You know what? I don't have to have any discipline in this matter. I don't need to, consume any type of beverage to wake myself early because I want to get up and do it. There is no discipline to it. I've focused on not combating the drives that I experience, but molding the drives that I experience and what I can do to feel this. I'll tell you, it's certainly easy to cut when you're eating. I don't even count how many calories a day I'm having, but suffice it to say, I've had this Costco pizza, I've had a loaf of sourdough bread, a gallon of milk, 2 scoops of protein powder, 17 miniature bell peppers, a pound of cheese. I didn't count how many multigrain crackers with sunflowers and flax seeds I had, but it was less than 10 ounces. And then I ate about 8 clementines. And that's been rather, the plan for the day as we progress through the pre-dinner meal into my second cardio session of the day. But yeah, that's pretty much the condensed way I can share, the scuffed aspects of this tidbit in my newly acquired hovel. But perhaps you will benefit, or at least be amused by this information.